In this video, we're going to see how we can create a lighting system inside our scene using only a single image. And this technique is called image-based lighting. And to create this effect, this type of lighting, we're gonna need HDRI images or textures. So we're gonna see basically how we can work with HDRI in Blender. Now, in the previous video, we talked about the different lighting techniques and effects that we can get here in Blender. So we talk about the fog effect and the volumetric lights, and also how we can set up a complex system of lights to get different situations and to express different scenarios. But in this video, we are not going to talk about lights anymore. So we're not going to use lights. We're just going to use a single image. Now, one only variant to this is to use the sunlight in combination with a particular type of environment light, which is called the sky. So we can create a really simple system using a sun and a skylight, or we can get a more complex situation, a more complex lighting using HDRI. So we're gonna see these two options that we have. So we're gonna start with a simple scene, an empty scene, and we're also gonna get some models from Sketchfab. Now we already know how to use Sketchfab, create an account, and then get inside, search for your models. Now in my case, I've chosen this nice bike, sports bike, and this is from the author that you can see here. So you can just look for the name of the model or the author and click on download model. And again, you need to sign in. And once you do that, you can download the file. But this file is not in Blender format, so you will find it in OBJ and GLTF. Now, in my experience, it's better GLTF in this case. So download the GLTF version. And then we have this wonderful Lamborghini here, which is also animated, by the way. You can animate it also in your scene. And this is called Lamborghini Centenario and so on. So you can just type this and get it yourself. This is the author and all the information here, and the license, it's attribution. So, well, we gave credit to the authors, and also if you want, you can donate here. You can help them to create more wonderful models like this. So once you download these two models, and this one here will be in Blender, so it's pretty simple to then place it inside your scene. So if you extract the folder, just click there and you will find two more folders, and then just double click the Blender file for the Lamborghini Centenario, and from here we're gonna just copy and paste basically, or you can use this scene as well. But if you already set up a scene, you just need the model, you can just go here and select, right click and select all the objects, and I'm gonna change the language, by the way. So since we are here, I just want to show you the add-ons also that you can use to create some environmental lights. So I'm gonna switch here to English, then go to add-ons, and if you search for sun, you can see here this is a add-on for the positioning of the sun in your scene if you want to do an exterior render. This is pretty helpful. And for the sky, if you type sky, you can activate the dynamic sky. So these are two really handy features, additional features that you can use. Total new scene, I've already got rid of the cube in the origin point, and then Ctrl V just to paste the object. So it's just about copying and pasting, so pretty simple. Now if we want to see some texture, just switch here in the material preview mode. So it's gonna start to load up all the really wonderful textures here. And to also insert the additional motorcycle, I'm gonna go to File. In this case, I'm gonna do Import and go to GLTF, and I'm gonna navigate again into my personal Sketchfab folder here. and this time I'm gonna import it. I'm not just gonna do copy and paste. So you have an advantage when you have a Blender file. Otherwise, you need to figure out which one is the best format, and in this case, it's GLTF for this particular file. Now, there you go. This is the file right here. Extract everything as usual from Sketchfab, and then just gonna wait a couple of seconds. There you go. And I'm gonna move this right here. Now, I've chosen this model just to show you something about the emissive materials. Now, emissive materials are kind of lights, but they are not actual lights. They are objects where you apply a material and sometimes a texture to emit lighting. Now, if you want to create, for example, an emissive object, you just, well, let's make a real quick text. So the scene will be similar to the one that you saw at the beginning of the video. Okay, so let's say that I want to type Blender here. So I'm gonna switch to edit mode, and sorry about, I'm still in Italian. Okay, now I'm in English, and let's type Blender here. Okay, and let's move it into position again. So let's go to object mode, place it right here, and let's give it also just a little extrusion. So I'm gonna navigate here into the text, and here, well, actually I can change also the font if I want, but I'm gonna keep this one here and just extrude a little bit and give it also just a slight bevel. Okay, not too slight. Let's say 0.001. Okay, and so if we want to apply an emissive object, we already saw how to do that. So I just go here and say new, and go all the way down, find the emission part, bump up the emission. Let's give like a nice Blender orange color, and then we can increase or decrease the intensity here or the strength. I'm gonna add a plane, which is also gonna be useful later for the shadows, because we already say in another video that to have a plane to project shadows is going to make everything more realistic, and also it will help you to display here a little bit of lighting from this. And let's run a render. So we're going to go into cycles mode, and we're going to, well, let's deactivate the scene world at the moment. So we can see that we already have kind of a HDRI system already embedded into Blender. We just need to deactivate scene world to access the default HDRI system. And if we increase a little bit the world opacity, we can start to actually see it all around our scene. And let me also decrease the blur so we can see the image a little bit better. You can see it's not a high resolution image. We can see the pixels, but it's gonna do its job, which is basically projecting lights from all over the from all over the points. It's like, I've made this example in another video. It's like Truman Show. We have like an entire sphere surrounding our scene that is gonna project, first of all, light into the scene. It's gonna lighten everything up, and this is also called environment lighting. And also, it's helpful, and it's necessary for two additional reasons. We have a background, so we can use the image as a background, and also we have reflections, which are gonna make everything more realistic, especially reflective materials. So let's see how the scene is gonna look so far. I'm gonna also decrease the strength of this just to see the emissive material a little bit better. And let's run a render here in not Eevee, but cycles. Remember that every time we need to check the effects in a more advanced way, we need cycles. And there you go. Now, I'm also gonna get rid of some stuff here that I don't need to see the view better. There we go. I'm just gonna deactivate everything I don't really need. Floor and the grid, the axis. Okay, so everything is nice and clean. So we can already see here the effect of the HDRI lighting thanks to the sphere there in the background, and we can see the emissive material. So emissive material, it's again a material that is projecting light. Well, also the HDRI is a sphere with a texture that also is projecting light. So when we use an emissive material, the light goes like from the inside to the outside. When we use HDRI images, it's all the way around. So it's coming from the external part towards the center of our scene. So let's see quickly what image-based lighting is about. Now you can see here that if you look for it in Google, you will find many examples, and also how the light is projected from the external sphere towards the subject in the middle, and also how this affects the background. If you want, actually, you can also deactivate the background, and also how it affects the reflections. So this is pretty popular. Why? Because it quickly turns something into a really realistic rendering, because it's using a background, it's using reflections, it's using a complex lighting which is coming from the image itself. So with a single image we can get a lot of complexity in terms of lights without actually adjusting any lighting at all. Now the drawback of this is that we are not actually able to manage all the lights and the shadows, the 3-point lighting, the way we used to do with the lights in the previous video. So this is a quick technique, a quick solution, but also as